Welcome to Healing with Her, the podcast where women in medicine share bold and honest conversations from the front lines of healthcare. Step into the world of Black women medical professionals as they unpack the power of healing, the weight of care, and the beauty of showing up whole.
Welcome to Healing with Her, the podcast where women in medicine share bold, honest, and healing conversations from the front lines of healthcare. I'm your host, Dr. Brianne Wilson, and I'm thrilled you're here. Whether you're a healthcare professional, someone passionate about wellness, or someone looking to gain more knowledge about your own health and well-being, you'll find stories here that resonate, educate, and inspire. The podcast was born from a shared truth. Healing isn't just about medicine. It's about connection, listening, and leadership. And who better to lead these conversations than women physicians? Disclaimer, the information shared on Healing with Her is intended for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the guidance of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding your health. The views expressed by the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of their institutions or employers. And today we have an awesome guest with us, Miss Rachel Laster, MS, RDN, CDN, from Real Life Dietetics and Consulting. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And also joining us is Dr. Melissa Neal and Dr. Nylander. So, first question. How do we distinguish or define an RDN versus a CDN, and how that maybe like a dietitian differs from a nutritionist?
Yes, so an RDN or CDN is just the licensure name, so it's the same thing. Registered dietitian changed to RDN because most people didn't know what dietitian meant, so it's just registered dietitian nutritionist.
Okay.
However, anyone can call themselves a nutritionist. Like you tomorrow could call yourself a nutritionist, get a card, your nutritionist that day. If someone wants to pay you for your nutrition information, they can. So there's no, body that regulates the word nutritionist.
Okay.
To become a dietitian, you have to go to, school for about 3 years to get your. Now it's a master's requirement to sit for the exam, so you have to do all that schooling around nutrition, about 1,200 hours of internship, and, to get the credentials, and you have to sit for the exam from the Commission of Dietetic Registration.
So you have to be very careful when following these wonderful nutritionists.
Influencers.
Influencers on social media.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of that in the market, especially given nutrition and the nature of how people, I think, come to understand nutrition because of the degree of social influence and social views on what a healthy body looks like and what a healthy body eats and what a healthy. And I don't know how much you guys experience this because you're in fields that I feel people are probably less questionable to, but a lot of people tell me they know what they're doing. They know that this is going to be the thing, and I'm just like, I don't fully agree because that's not exactly what I would suggest. Like as a dietitian, as someone that's gone to school for this, I don't know if people come to you and say, no, my eyes are fine, and I know how to fix my eyes.
Yep. They eat carrots. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. I do encounter a lot of that in that, but our goal is to really make sure you have evidence-based information and to lessen the misinformation that is out there.
Okay. Do you think that's a lot more difficult nowadays?
Significantly. Now, I've been a dietitian now for 6 years. I just became a dietitian. It was sort of a second career type situation. I became a dietitian in 2020, and I've mostly worked in community-facing grant work at the University, where I went and got my master's degree. However, I do have a practice where I do see clients. I do online counseling as well, a lot of presentations. I know you're going to ask me that later, so we can... Yeah.
You can go to it now. Okay. Keep talking about it.
As part of Real Life Dietetics, I do a series of things. But my main reason for starting the thing was in 2012. So my background was in bioinformatics. My first degree, I'm a big old nerd. So biology, computer science. I went to RIT. I thought that's what I wanted to do.
I went to RIT. Did you?
we'll talk about that later. I love that school. It was a good time. I had fun. But upon graduating, I found that field is not something I was truly interested in. I find that we as Black women often want to find jobs that are nurturing. We want to help somebody. And so I didn't get that from that career. And also, it's not a real job field. They didn't tell us that part. It really only exists within academia. It's not, there's no practical use of your bioinformation and your computer science information. There's no one hiring you to do both those things. So I played around for a couple years and I stumbled into, I worked at a pharmaceutical plant. Because like I said, there's nowhere to hire you to do both. And so I worked at a pharmaceutical plant, got let go from there, and then from there I was doing a lot of community work. And I ended up over at ECMC as a health educator. And if you know Rita Hubbard Robinson or Sheila Bass, those are the two women that introduced me to the concept of dietetics and social determinants of health and all that. And I saw too many people that looked like me dying from things that they needn't die from. Now, they will affect your life. You may get these diseases, but they don't need to kill you. Right. And so I saw a lot of that, and I just, once again, wanted to do something to help people. And so I decided, because once again, I'm a nerd, and I was like, I don't think that people should be getting a whole bunch of misinformation. I want to go learn what I need to know to actually help infer upon the population that I was trying to educate, I guess, around nutrition, because, like I said, I saw too many people that looked like me dying of things they needn't die from. Yeah.
Who would you recommend see a registered dietitian?
Really, anybody that wants, like I said earlier, like evidence-based information around nutrition. There's a lot of influencers out there. There's a lot of people that think they know what they're talking about out there. There's a lot of distrust, unfortunately, of the medical system out there. Yeah. So with all that, I think that if you have a disease state that is manageable by, diet, like if you have diabetes, heart conditions, kidney conditions, things of that nature, these are all things that you can definitely benefit from working with a dietitian to help lessen the progression of that disease. If you're just someone that wants to lose weight as well or eat healthier, you can go to a dietitian as well. We're going to give you, once again, evidence-based information around optimizing your diet, because I am a dietitian that believes that, firstly, all foods can fit in your diet, but you should know, but you should maybe know to lean on generally the healthier way a diet should look, because no one size does not fit all for nutrition. The only things I say as a nutritionist that I say generally across the board are drink more water and eat more vegetables. That's very low. Like everything else after that, I generally say that you have to talk to that person and figure out what their needs are. It's very one-on-one. You can't really throw what works for one person won't work necessarily for the next person, and what worked for you won't necessarily work for. It's like you can't, like a lot of people, like once they find out, I did this and it worked for. That doesn't mean it's gonna work for your friend. Right. That doesn't mean it's gonna work for your mom. That doesn't mean it's gonna work for anybody but necessarily you. And it's best to meet that person where they're at as well, because everybody's at a different stage of maybe where their nutrition knowledge, their goals on why they want to work with a dietitian. I often ask that in my initials, why are you here? Because some people want different things. Some people want you just write me a food list. Other people just want an accountability partner, someone that's going to yell at them. So like, will you snack my food on my hand? I'm not going to snack your food out your hand. Some people are also very scared to go to a dietitian because they think we're food police, and I'm not. Now, some dietitians may be. I'm not. That's not. I don't think you can help somebody by putting them in a purposely. I'm a judgment-free, because even as a dietitian, I find a lot of people saying I don't know what I'm doing at all because I'm in a bigger body. But I understand why I'm in a bigger body. Right. The majority of my life, I've been in a bigger body. So to just simply change that overnight is not a simple thing. And people also don't understand, because a lot of the social media that we have and a lot of just the nature of weight loss and the way that people want this to be a very quick and microwavable situation, they don't approach this necessarily the healthiest way. There'll be several approaches people will take, because unfortunately, this is, while it's a health thing, it's very vanity driven. And since it's such a appearance based want, people will do almost anything, and if they see the results they want, they'll do things that are actually unhealthy in pursuit of the appearance goal they are looking for. So since that occurs so often I'm working with people who, firstly, I need to sort of educate out of that and sort of work around expectations, because once again, I meet several people that want, like, I had a friend that lost like 36 pounds. She was doing keto, which no dietitian would suggest for you. And she lost 36 pounds or something in like 3 months. And she was like, I could do this forever. And I'm like, no, you shouldn't. And no, you can't. And then eventually, she gained weight back, because that's what happens with the majority of people who do this diet, because it's not healthy and it's not what we recommend. It's not how your body chooses to work.
Right.
But because so many people see the outcome they want from it, because you're going to lose weight. Like, you're going to do that because that's how our bodies work. But our bodies don't know the difference between starvation and ketosis. Like, it doesn't know the difference. And so when you mix that on up, you'll lose weight, but your body's now scared to death. Like, you've shocked it. Our bodies are super primitive, and it does not see weight loss as a positive. It sees weight gain as a positive, actually. Like, if you have fat on you, it's like, yeah, we're ready for the famine, because our bodies are still very primitive. Like, so if the famine comes, we gonna live. We good. Like, we good. But until, like, since we don't exist in a place where there's actually famines anymore, when you do diets like that, and it also the constant yo-yo dieting, our bodies get very confused, and it thinks that the famine has occurred, and does things then after that to keep that weight on you or make you regain that weight. And like physiological things, fat has its own some metabolic processes. So it's not cut and dry as like just eat less and be more disciplined, because it's not that simple, unfortunately.
But what cracks me up is the water, right? Water, more vegetables. So, I'm a podiatrist, and sometimes people come to me with like, swelling in their legs or something like that. That's not heart related, right? So there's like no systemic issues, or cramping in their feet, or just different things like that. My first question is always, how much water do you drink? And they're like, oh, I drink a lot of water.
And then you're like, what's a lot?
What's a lot of water? Exactly. How much is a lot of water? Oh, I drink 2 bottles of water. Are we talking 16 ounces? Or are we talking about 8 ounces? Or I drink coffee and tea and juice. How much water are you drinking?
Important. And people really very much underestimate the importance of water. And it's like such a thing that I guess as medical professionals, we understand, because we've learned at some point that water is super important for just about everything. Right? But the general populace does not quite feel that way, or just necessarily know it. And so you have to convince a lot of people into the water drinking, and to understand that it's just very important for all your chemical processes that you want to go correctly. Just basic regulation. It's super important. And it's just, to your point, you always have to ask. It's not, if I drink a lot of water, it's like, what's that mean to you?
What does that mean?
Because we know the general amount we ask is for minimum 64 ounces a day. So that's about 4 16-ounce bottles. But I've had several people tell me, no, I drink plenty of water, lots of water, and it's 2 bottles. And you're like,
or one bottle.
And I know you guys also know or one, and from like, because I'm like, when I hear these things, I'm like, well, technically you shouldn't, ever poop. Right. I was like, so do you? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, do you though? I was like, but unfortunately, Canada does not actually translate. Our bodies, once again, while primitive, super intelligent. They will do everything it needs to do to make you survive. Right. And so I think that also ties in with people's not understanding that, yes, you're not going to die from this. You're not going to die from doing keto. You're not going to die. But you didn't do yourself any favors. You're not like, and understanding it, because we're always, once again, trying to trick our bodies into doing something that they're not naturally set up to do, in that case. And it's funny, that part I find funny, because everyone's very like, natural, but let me try to make my body run in a natural way. I was like, because that's exactly what you're doing in that situation. Your body changes the way it chooses to receive energy. Carbohydrates are the devil. All of a sudden, we're vilifying those left and right, but those are needed things for energy. We need them in our bodies for our bodies to run correctly. Yes. And it's our body's preferred method of energy creation. If you cut it off, your body will do the ketosis thing, and you'll lose fat because it's trying to keep you alive. That's it. It's not trying to do anything else but keep you alive. And the second you eat the carbohydrate again, your body will go back to burning carbohydrates, because that's what it's supposed to do. That's what it chooses to do. That's how it chooses to function. And it's just funny to me that people are always like screaming this natural thing, but then trying to make their body work unnaturally.
So do any of you ladies, in your practices, I know patients, again, I'm a podiatrist, so I deal a lot with diabetes and things like that. So I try to give, as much information as I can to a certain point, and then I'm like, okay, you might need to go see
I can speak on that. I see patients from various ages. I saw a young patient, new patient recently, who had a BMI of 18 with a BMI of 60.
Okay, that's
Wow.
rather high.
She did not come in thinking that anything was wrong.
Well, that
But
is a rather high BMI.
It's an extremely high BMI for an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she's just setting herself up.
Yeah,
for,
that's
you
like,
know,
and
that's scary. And I'm like, who is your pediatrician?
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
yeah, who will?
Because she just came to me as a new. Oh, yeah, she did. She didn't know who her pediatrician was, and I'm like, I need to speak to your mother.
Yeah.
You know. So after examining the patient, I talked to the mother. I said, who is she seeing? Has she seen anybody recently? Because she needs blood work. She needs this, that, and the other. And I did talk to her about a nutritionist or a dietitian.
Right.
I said, you need to think about, you know, your health, your current health, and your future health.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Because
really,
you're on a treadmill for disaster. You
because
know?
as much as we don't, I mean, I don't think we should vilify, and I don't think you
No.
were. I don't think,
Right.
but
No.
we do have to consider what, because there's a lot of discourse currently within the dietetics community as well on what obesity is, and is it a disease by itself, or do we want to, like, do we not want to label it as a disease, because then we're sort of, you know, I guess the issue is more like saying that individuals who otherwise don't have any other sickness issue outside of just being obese, we don't want to, you know, I guess stigmatize them with the disease state, and but we do have the evidence saying that, you know, if you find yourself in this constant state of obesity, that usually trends towards something more negative over time. And so we definitely want to help people move out of that space as much as we can, or to a more reasonable, because BMI is not, you know, the best measure of anything. We have to account for everything, but like 60 is never going to be, that means you have a lot of,
never
like,
gonna be
60,
never okay.
yeah, that's
That's
not going to be
never gonna
okay.
be,
And like overall, like long-term health, we're going to
Right.
probably see some other things come down the road, probably like some metabolic syndrome, you know, potentially diabetes, like all, it can tie into all these other things over the course of time. So also, like, given that it's that high at that age, does she have a different underlying condition that may be causing it? Like, so there's so many things to, like, you know, want to figure out on that front. But to that point, yes, she definitely probably should see a dietitian amongst a series, and probably get a lot of checkups done. Hopefully everything's still good, because luckily she's still in a growth state. So luckily she can get away with a little bit more murder than we can, because she's still technically growing, and she can like work her way out of a lot of the issues that someone in, you know, an older age bracket would not be able to, because age is the highest confounder of really anything. Like, I have so many clients that also want to be in their 20-year-old body when they're not 20.
I tell my patients all the time, like, you're going to forget this 20-year-old body. Wish you had that 20-year-old body back.
And it's just, and people, and it changes very quickly. People really understand, like, once you stop growing, you start, I don't like to phrase it that way because it sounds horrible, but once you stop growing, you start dying. Like you're going downhill in a way, and you're no longer in a state where your body is going to do things to make you, I guess, create in the same way that it will at your younger age. So after about 25, from the age 25 on, every about 5 years or so, you lose about 5% of your muscle mass, unless you're doing something to keep it. So unless you're like in the gym doing some strength training on a regular basis, something, you start losing your muscle mass. When you lose this muscle mass, you start gaining weight. Just generally because your BMR goes down, your overall burn just lessens because you now have more, potentially more fat, but less muscle on you. And this just progressively happens as we age. And a lot of people just don't seem to, you know, work their way out of that. They're like, oh no. I had a friend, he was trying to do something. He was like, how do I gain muscle and lose like 20 pounds in like 2 months? And I was like, I don't know. Well, those are two separate things. I was like, you're asked to do one thing, which is that's an anabolic process, and you're asked to do one thing that's a catabolic process. And firstly, I'm a dietitian. I don't know how to make you run faster at all. Like, I assume you need more bigger muscles, and I was like, this is an assumption. I was like, I assume you need bigger muscles for that. Don't know really how to get you those. I just know to get bigger muscles, you're going to need to eat. And to lose the weight, you're probably not going to need to eat. And so I'm like, you can't really do those things simultaneously. And so it's just often you're working with someone with some degree of knowledge base around nutrition, but not
the key points.
The key things also, and like misunderstanding to that point earlier with like influencers and all that. They often aren't completely wrong. They're using a piece of science. Like, there's a little science mixed in with all this nonsense. Like, and so,
and typically tied to a product that they want to sell.
And typically tied to a product that they want to sell. So, I often say, like, if they're trying to sell you anything, just don't believe what they're talking about. Like, and like because and it's really just not constantly, but there is a lot of battle of misinformation. Like the Dr. Sebi diet. The diet's not bad. You can do it. He's completely making up reasons why it works. So like the whole like mucus and whatever. That's not how our bodies work. That's completely nonsense. However, the diet itself is not bad. If you want to follow the diet, go ahead. It's mostly vegetables. It's fine. Like the diet itself is excellent. It's not going to cure a single disease you have. It's not going to cure anything.
Right.
It will but it is a very healthy diet. It's much more restrictive than I feel a diet. A healthy diet even needs to be, like a healthy, balanced, sensible diet needs to be. But so the diet itself is not bad. I think the science behind the diet is just incorrect. It's just not. You can't change your body pH with food. It's not. And if you could, you wouldn't want to.
That's right.
You don't want it's not like, so the science trash. The actual diet not trash. Like it's fine diet. You can do it. Also, do not do. I fear often because of the distrust in medical, like Western medicine, in the sense. People do want to seek out alternative therapies, which is fine. I'm actually considering becoming an herbalist just so I can know what people are talking about. And also like medical and herbal interactions are very important because a lot of clients I take are on medications, and you don't want it. I was on a call a while back on heart health, and they had an herbalist talking, which was fine. You know, and she said, take St. John's wort. And I'm like, well, you could, except if they're on warfarin. Right, I was like, and I didn't want to say anything, so I'm like, I don't want to seem like I'm discrediting her, but simultaneously, she's giving someone advice that may, like, you know, like, that's what I'm saying, like, that's not, right. Like, I was like, it's like, you can't, I typed in the chat, I just didn't.
Oh, not even like, except if you're a warfarin.
I'm like, because it can cause, you know, you might be giving someone information that's actually detrimental if you don't have that full situation. And so you want to make sure, like, I want to understand, and I get, like, you know, we have so many things, and especially in the culture of African-American history, where the medical system was not our friend and has not been our friend. And we're also understudied. As you know, there's a dearth of us in every field. Like, we need more Black people in every single field of medicine, not just dietetics, not just gynecology, podiatry, ophthalmology, every field, because there's not enough research. Because like, if you ask for like skin cancer, for our vitamin D intake, so a lot of that's from the sun. There are no recommendations for darker skinned people. The recommendation is for fair skinned people, and that's it. And so it's 20 minutes a day in shorts and a t-shirt for the vitamin D, and then after that it's nothing. I was like, huh. So I tried to well, what's it for not fair skinned people? I'm trying to find some. We don't have anything. There's no recommendation. So I'm just like, well, maybe 40 minutes. I don't know. I was like, a little longer in the sun, a little more naked. Like how do we make this work? But so there's definitely a need for more people of color to be in all these fields, just for the research to also firstly tailor toward us so we can get more information for the slight differences that do occur with cultural and racial differences. And to the point of like, I like personally with my business, so I do a series of things. So I see clients one-on-one, I do that. I do also see clients online. So I take insurances myself at reallifedieteticsandconsulting.com. You can check it out there. But I also work for Flourish Nutrition Online, which is just another entity that allows for telemedicine-based nutrition. So, you know, plug for them as well. And they also have another dietitian, at least two, I would say, of color on our staff at that company as well. So I do that. I do cooking classes. So I've done cooking classes that are like contracted. So with the Botanical Gardens and Girard Place last year, the Botanical Gardens has a little mini farm that they grow produce from and ship to Girard Place every week or so. And so I was contracted with creating recipes around the food that they grow, and then working with individuals in their senior program to show them how to create these recipes. So I do stuff like that. I do presentations. I did a presentation with Calming Nature Doula, and just a week ago, the Alzheimer's Association, just discussing healthy diet. Or for the Alzheimer's Association, we did like brain health foods, which ultimately a healthy diet, also I should probably it's a balanced diet. This new marketing around this new food pyramid.
I was just going to ask about that. How do you feel the Department of Health?
No, they didn't.
Health Services, our new secretary.
So the overall message is not bad. Eat whole foods. That I can work with.
Okay.
That part is good. Now I have a lot of issue with the visual that they created because
flipping.
The flipping, because that was firstly, we haven't used the food pyramid since 2011. We've been on myplate.gov for quite a while, and I find in my talking to individuals that was much. I mean, the food pyramid, I don't really know what it was saying. I can't even tell you. I was
the
very
plate
young.
is definitely more practical.
I feel the plate is more practical. You can just show people, like, you see half of this?
Yeah.
Vegetables and fruit.
Right.
You don't have, like, quarter of here?
Yeah.
Protein. Like, and we'll explain what proteins are. You know, down here, complex carbs, preferably, but, you know, carbs. Like, complex carbs, and we explain what those are, because a lot of times people don't know these little things, but you can, like, generally people don't want to eat unhealthy.
Right.
Like, so, and we have an idea of what's healthy and what's not. And generally people do understand that, you know, Takis for breakfast is not, like, you know, even children understand that this is not probably where it should go, but sometimes people do have some areas where they're not quite as, you know, learned, quite quote unquote, about nutrition, but no one's trying to eat in a way that's going to establish a bad health situation for themselves. No one is aiming to do that.
Okay.
However, people do like to eat their foods. And as a dietitian, I like to work with people on what they know and then what they like. But I try to meet people where they're at and then see where we need to, you know, if we need to change something. Because I know one of the questions we had was...
Do you encourage, like, a food diary or anything?
That's what I was going to say. Like, the main thing, well, I firstly asked them what they see a dietitian for. Like, do they want more just guidance? Do they want more education? Do they have a disease state? Are they looking for, like, because I know one girl, she said, I need an accountability partner. I was like, oh, okay, I can do that for you. And so I asked what they're seeking out, and also to get a better idea of what do they have realistic expectations on what I can do for them? Because sometimes we're like, you helped me so much, and I was like, I just gave you some suggestions, you implemented them, and that's why you saw the results that you did. I have other clientele that pretty much they think the whole thing of coming to a dietitian is talking to me, and then not necessarily doing not doing anything that was suggested, and then wondering why there's not seeing any difference in their outcomes.
That sounds like medicine.
Like, so
100%.
it's.
And then when they actually do it, they're like, "Oh my God, you were right."
I had one client that wasn't drinking any water, and she was like, she wasn't drinking any water, and I was like, she was like, I feel like more energy. I was like, just imagine, you know, like, I mean, but some people don't realize that, like, you're walking around chronically dehydrated, like, you're always dehydrated. I was like, so you have to change that for yourself, and then maybe you'll sleep better, maybe you'll find some outcomes in this arena that you weren't expecting, because let's say a lot of people don't necessarily tie this to overall health. They don't think that the water intake is super important because they don't feel directly bad, or they don't see a direct issue, or they don't feel any different than they used to feel, or they can't pinpoint a direct problem. So they don't understand that maybe the water could be something simple, or just simple things. Even I felt, you know, like folly, I guess, too. Like, you know, like, you have individuals like, I eat lots of sweets. I'm like, you know, eat fruit instead of sweets. And it took me a long time myself to figure out, like, I keep telling my clients this, but then I sneak off to Crumble and buy a cake because their cookies are trash, but their cake is amazing. So even myself, like, if you even have the education, it won't necessarily change your behaviors. So working on, even myself, but working with clients on what we can do in terms of your behaviors that can be altered to help you reach a better, because I don't think there is an optimal health that you can reach, and, you know, nutrition is only one part of wellness. Like, there's movement, there's sleep, there's, you know, stress, there's stress relief.
Here's the other thing I think that we need to make sure that people understand, that this, like we talked about before, you know, we live in this society where things they want it instant. You eating fresh vegetables, fruit, look at me, fresh vegetables, fruit, water for 1 week ain't gonna do it.
Not it.
No,
it takes a long time, and people, like I said, people's expectations are, they want it very quickly.
They want it instant.
Now, in the actual work, doing the work, it does help that they do see those scale goals, because the scale victories help the most, I feel, in helping people stick to whatever they're doing. But there are so many others. There's first that you can, like, measure yourself, but really, like, understanding that, like, I try to work with people to do some mindset rechange as well, to understand that when they're feeding themselves healthily, that they are doing themselves a benefit. That is self-care in itself. So if you can wrap your idea around that, okay, you know, I want cake, but I'm going to eat this broccoli. It's, you know, at this moment, because I had cake yesterday already, you know, like if you can wrap your head around how this is going to be better for you in the outcome, like, what is the outcome of the choices you're making? Like, what is the overall, like, is this beneficial to you? Because there's a lot of foods we eat in our market that are the food environment that we're currently in that don't do us any favors.
Right.
Like half the market is not necessary to be eaten. Like it's there, you can eat it, but it's not necessary that you eat it. You know, it's just like, and because I always use Cheez-Its as an example of that, like because I myself love Cheez-Its, but I don't eat them very often because there's not anything much there for me. It's a little bit of carbohydrate, but not very low nutritional value.
But there's cheese in it.
There's some cheese and some carbohydrate, a little bit, but nothing of true merit. And it's like, also the other thing I say that I say don't drink any soda. Because there's nothing there for you.
There is really nothing.
There's really nothing of quality there. It's just sugar. Like if you are a type 1 usually diabetic, because type 2s pass out. Like type 1s often can, and you find yourself on the floor, that's the time to drink some soda. After that, other than that, don't do it. Like there's no nutritional value there really for you. And so I often try to work people out of drinking if they're drinking a lot. Like drink it like, treat it as a treat. Treat it as like, treat it like cake. Treat it like cupcakes. Treat it like, treat it as something you would lean away from on an everyday basis because of the high sugar content, because there isn't anything nutritional there for you outside of the...
What about the seltzer?
Yes, seltzer water is fine. Those are fine.
Yeah, that's what I've tried to steer my patients.
That's what I love, but some people don't like it.
I'm like, you can find a flavor that you'll like. There's so many.
Some people, this man described it as tasting like TV static, and I was like, "That's right." Yes, I was like, but I still love it. I love seltzer water.
TV static.
I think it's a very accurate description.
No, it is.
I was like, but at the same time, I love seltzer water. But if you don't like it, you can infuse your water with fruit. You can just add lemon juice. There's so many things. They have those. I'm not against those little 5-calorie packets. If if that's gonna, I would prefer a non-nutritive sweetener at any point than you not drinking the water. Because that'll help increase your overall water intake, and since it doesn't have the actual sugar in it. Now, the issue with that is that sometimes those sweeteners can cause your body to react in a way where it still will have the same insulin response. And so you don't necessarily want that. And also that whole cascade of eating, like the gustatory response, can cause you to, your body to also react a little different around the food. So it'll create you to be hungry as well. Like, so there's some mix.
Is that with aspartame?
There's aspartame. I can't remember which ones. There's there's particular ones that sort of cause the issue more so than other ones. But so there is some issue around that, but still at the end of the day, especially if you're diabetic or just anyone that's wanting to watch your sugar take, I'd much rather you drink a non-nutritive sweetener than pop. There's just tons of calories, and they're not gonna. There's almost no health with those calories. At least if you're drinking a little bit of juice, there's at least a vitamin or two, a mineral.
Right. But what about the Coke versus the Coke One?
So I would much rather a Coke Zero or One, or just
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would much rather you drink than the actual sugar.
I don't like my daughter drinking diets.
I don't like. I don't. Diet is better for the nutritional point. Like I said, they can have some other issues. If she doesn't have any other issues around those things, I really wouldn't be concerned about her drinking the diet pop. However, I would say definitely no to the soda over it.
Okay.
Unless, how old is the daughter that we're talking
16.
about? She's young. Does she drink a lot of soda?
Well, when she does drink soda, she doesn't drink a lot of soda, but when she does, it's a diet soda.
Okay. I mean, I'd rather that for her than a real one, honestly. Just because there's really nothing there in the sugar one other than lots of sugar. Okay. And the other one is closer to water. And like I said, it has the chemicals that we're concerned about in the quantity, those are rat studies. It's not, you'd have to drink, she'd have to drink, I want to say I'm just going to throw a number out there that's probably not 100% accurate, but she'd have to drink I think 60 cans of aspartame to meet the amount they were saying would cause cancer and the people all these things. Okay. So and she's not going to do that. Not 60 cans. I mean, I don't mean 60 cans over the course of time either. I mean 60 cans a day.
Okay.
It's not. She's not going to get to that amount of aspartame for the human body that they were giving to these mice that got the cancer from the aspartame or whatever the situation was. So I'd much rather suggest a non-nutritive sweetener for almost anybody over. I personally don't drink either because I don't like the taste of them, and then I find pop to be entirely too sweet now. I was like, I can't do it. Kool-Aid, all these things.
So the moral of the story is
water.
Drink water.
Plain water. And plain water preferably, but if not, put something not sugary in it. Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Rachel, for being our guest today, and remind our audience of where they can get a hold of you if they were interested at all in any of your services.
If interested in my services, you can reach me at reallifedietconsulting.com. I have a website that you can reach out to schedule an appointment, or just reach out to schedule some other type of activity with me. My prices and everything are there as well. You can also reach, if you want to work with me or other wonderful dietitians, at flourish.io. You can also reach me through that medium as well.
Right. Thank you so much. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode of Healing with Her. We hope you found the information enlightening and empowering. You can follow our podcast on YouTube. Please follow us, like us, subscribe, and share with everyone you know. Again, disclaimer, the information shared on Healing with Her is intended for educational and informational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the guidance of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding your health. The views expressed by the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of their institution or employers. Thank you.